Welcome to Business Arena, live from Warsaw on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Cato. Let's go to the main business stories of the day. Czech power company Czech has teamed up with Rolls-Royce to explore the use of small modular reactors for nuclear power in the Czech Republic. Czech Group plans to build its first small modular reactor near the Temelin nuclear power plant in South Bohemia. It is expected to be ready in the first half of the 2030s before the launch of the new large Czech nuclear unit, which is planned for 2040. The company selected Rolls-Royce from a list of 7 potential SMR technology providers. Meanwhile, Czech is also exploring other locations that may be suitable for SMRs. These include the sites in Tušimice in the northwestern part of the country and Dětmarovice in the northeast. Both are currently undergoing intensive exploration and monitoring work in order to establish their suitability as a location for a nuclear power source.
Identical technology, including
exports of Polish-made batteries used to power electric vehicles have registered a significant slump this year. This comes amid an EU-wide drop in EV sales, with the largest decline occurring in the bloc's biggest market, Germany.
In the first 6 months of 2023, Poland emerged as Europe's biggest exporter of lithium-ion batteries, trailing only China globally. However, according to data cited by the Polish Economic Institute, the outlook has since worsened. Following significant growth, exports of Polish-made lithium-ion batteries dropped sharply. Between January and July 2024, they fell nearly 60% from their 2023 peak and about 30% compared to the same period in 2022. The main driver of the cross-border sale decline was a €2.6 billion drop in exports to Germany, Poland's largest buyer. The drop came amid falling demand for electric vehicles across Europe, which plummeted by nearly half in August year-on-year. In August, sales of new EVs fell sharply across major European economies, with Germany seeing a 70% decline. The situation in major EU economies does not look promising either. Cheaper Chinese competition is also reported to be a key factor in the downturn in sales. As a result, major EU producers like Volkswagen are struggling, with the company considering shutting down 2 factories in Germany.
Germany's finance minister suggested that the state could assist carmaker Volkswagen through its current rough patch. The comments come on the heels of Volkswagen's decision to cut production. On Friday, Habeck visited Volkswagen's electric vehicle plant in Emden, northwestern Germany, where he addressed workers' concerns over potential job losses caused by the closure of 2 factories. He said that while the car maker should bear some responsibility for the current challenges, he feels an obligation to step in and help the troubled industry. No exact figures were given, however. EV sales in Germany plummeted this year after the government halted subsidies for EV purchases. Volkswagen and other major car manufacturers saw their profits drop by approximately 15% in the first half of the year. It's a big day for the gaming industry in Poland, as one of the country's biggest developers is releasing Frostpunk 2, a sequel to the original post-apocalyptic game in an icy setting that was a smash hit. There are high expectations that the game's success will cement the global status of the Polish gaming industry.
Frostpunk 2 takes the player to a hostile Earth covered with ice and puts the player into the shoes of a leader who has to ensure the survival of his people. Each version is essentially a city builder game with a strong political and moral layer, and gamers around the world love it. The original Frostpunk sold over 5 million copies over the past 6 years. We asked the CEO of 11-Bit Studios, the game's developer, what players can expect in the sequel.
You can expect a lot from that game, and you can expect a lot from in different fields. Like, you can expect that you will show how the society is radicalized so fast currently. We saw it everywhere right now, in every country, the radicalization. The Frostpunk is about that.
Despite Frostpunk's success ahead of today's release, many investors got a serious case of cold feet. The company's stock dropped by almost 17% during Wednesday trading. Thursday saw many buying during the dip, however. Following a year full of failed launches in the gaming industry, many speculative investors have been choosing to sell at the peak of the hype before the launch, rather than risk a possible flop.
Usually you can see that in every major game launch, right now, the stock might go down because that's the nature of things. I wouldn't worry that much about it.
11-Bit's CEO is very satisfied with the pre-sales on online games platforms like Steam.
So, of course, as like every other company, we have our predictions, plans, etc., etc. What I can say as for now, we are like in all of the aspects, we are already at the plan or even higher.
However, 11-Bit is not the only successful studio in Poland. Currently, there are about 500 companies that produce and publish games in the country. Within a decade, their number has more than doubled. The entire sector already employs over 15,000 people in the country, which puts it at number 3 in Europe, behind the UK and France. The global value of the industry in 2024 is expected to reach approximately $218 billion. The biggest players include, of course, CD Projekt, by far the largest Polish game developer known for its hit The Witcher series and Cyberpunk 2077. They're followed by others like Techland, famous for the Dying Light series, CI Games, known for its first-person shooters, and, of course, 11-Bit. 11-Bit's CEO says Poland's secret to success lies in its homegrown talent.
Talent is very strong, and it started years and years ago. It started with a good education back then, but now we have a lot of companies and we have experience. There is the money market, like supporting the game dev, so there is a whole ecosystem.
It remains to be seen how successful Frostpunk 2 will be, but the Polish industry as a whole is strong and it's growing.
Nearly half of Poland's municipalities are grappling with a significant gender imbalance among young adults. In 1/10 of the communes, the disparities reach 20% or more.
This is the Polish edition of The Farmer Wants a Wife, a show about men from rural areas looking for a life partner. But looking at the latest data, it's no mystery that farmers need TV's help to find the right woman. All because of a serious gender imbalance which affects the age group most likely to form long-term relationships, between 25 and 34 years of age. In short, there are more men than women. In almost a half of Polish communes, young men outnumber women by more than 10%. In 1/5 of them, the difference is higher than 15%, and in 1/10 it rises to 20%. This issue is most pronounced in rural areas, where the percentage of young men exceeds that of women by an average of 12.4%. Interestingly, only 90 communes, just 3.6% of the total, have a situation where the population of young women exceeds that of young men by more than 5%. Meanwhile, in Poland's large cities, the situation is flipped. Warsaw, for instance, sees a 13% surplus of women in the 25 to 34 age group. This trend is repeated in Kraków and the Tri-City area. The imbalance has led to societal challenges, with young men more likely to live with their parents due to difficulties in finding a partner. Experts warn that this disparity could have long-term implications on family formation and population growth.
A major shakeup is underway at German media giant Axel Springer, the owner of outlets like Bild and Business Insider. The company has announced a massive €13.5 billion split, separating its classifieds ads businesses from its media assets. Private equity firm KKR, which has held a major stake at Axel Springer since 2019, will take control of the classified business. Vice Chairwoman Frida Springer and CEO Matthias Dopfner will gain full ownership of the remaining media properties, which includes Polish news portal Onet. Dopfner described the move as offering the best possible development prospects for both sides. Still, the media business will be a smaller company, as it generates about half the revenue and a third of the profit of the existing company. And that's all for our latest business news updates. For more of the latest business stories, check out tvpworld.com.